I never imagined I'd be the kind of girl who would sit down and confess to something like this. I used to think people who cheated were monsters, cold, selfish, broken in ways I couldn't understand. But the truth is, cheating doesn't always come with red lipstick stains or late nights sneaking around. Sometimes it creeps in quietly, through your own insecurities and fears. And one day, you wake up and realize, you became the villain in someone else's love story. His name was Jake. We met in college. Not at a party, not through a dating app. Just in class, English Lit, sophomore year. He was the kind of guy who didn't try to be noticed. He wasn't loud or full of bravado like some of the others. He just was. He sat 2 rows behind me, always with this calm energy about him, always reading something outside the syllabus. One day, I forgot my pen and turned around to ask for one. That's how it started, something as simple as a pen. He smiled, handed me one, and I still remember the way he said, "Keep it. Looks like you're always forgetting stuff." I laughed, and he smiled again. That was Jake. Kind. Observant. Soft in a world that seemed to reward loudness. Our relationship didn't explode into existence like a firework. It was more like a sunrise, slow, steady, almost unnoticed at first. But once it was there, it lit everything up. He didn't send grand gestures or make big declarations. He did little things, texted to make sure I ate before exams, remembered my roommate's name, noticed when I wore a new bracelet. On my worst days, he didn't try to fix me. He just sat beside me in silence, offering warmth. It felt safe. He felt safe. But somewhere along the way, that safety started to feel too safe. I don't know when it happened exactly. Maybe it was when I started hanging out with my old friend, Tyler. He was the opposite of Jake, charming, flirty, unpredictable. The kind of guy who made you feel like the center of the universe, even if you knew deep down you weren't. Tyler and I had history. Nothing serious, just a fling back in high school. But now, years later, when he messaged me out of the blue saying he missed our vibe, I didn't shut it down. I told myself it was innocent. Just catching up. At first, it was texts here and there. A coffee meetup that I told Jake was a group thing. Harmless, right? But that's the thing about cheating, it doesn't always start with a kiss. Sometimes it starts with a lie you tell yourself. Tyler made me feel exciting again. He complimented me in ways Jake never did, not because Jake didn't think I was beautiful, but because Tyler made it sound like I needed to hear it. Like I was this rare gem he couldn't stop thinking about. And I let myself believe that meant something. I let myself want it. The texts got flirtier. The meetups became more frequent. And all the while, Jake was just being Jake. Showing up at my place with my favorite snacks, staying up late helping me prep for a presentation, hugging me like I was the best thing that had ever happened to him. I started to feel split in two. One part of me loved Jake deeply. I still do, honestly. But the other part? The other part was selfish. Starved for validation. Addicted to the rush of being wanted by someone new. I began lying more about where I was going, who I was with. And every time Jake kissed me goodnight or told me he loved me, I felt a little sicker inside. I told myself I'd end things with Tyler before it went too far. But I didn't. Not until it already had. The night it happened, the night I crossed the line completely, I told Jake I was staying in to study. He even offered to come over and help quiz me. I told him no, said I needed to focus alone. But in reality, I was with Tyler. One thing led to another, and before I knew it, we had crossed a boundary I couldn't come back from. That night, lying next to Tyler, all I could think about was Jake. How he'd probably texted me goodnight. How he trusted me, believed in me. And how I'd just destroyed all of it in one night. I wish I could say I told him the next day. I wish I could say guilt got the better of me. But I didn't. I carried it for weeks. I smiled through our dates. I held his hand. I let him talk about the future, about getting a dog, moving in together after graduation. And every time he spoke, I could feel the weight of my lie growing heavier. In the end, it wasn't me who told him. It was my own carelessness. A mutual friend had seen me and Tyler together more than once and finally couldn't keep it in. Jake texted me late one night and asked if we could talk. I knew. I just knew. I went to his apartment, and the look in his eyes nearly broke me. He wasn't angry. He wasn't yelling or crying. He just looked empty. Like something inside him had turned off. He asked, "How long?" And I couldn't lie anymore. I told him everything. Every shameful detail. And when I finally stopped, he sat there in silence for a long time before whispering the words I'll never forget. "You didn't even let me try to be enough." I wanted to scream. To say it wasn't about him, that he was enough. That he was too good, too patient, too loving. But how could I say that and still be the one who broke him? He didn't ask for explanations. He didn't ask for a second chance. He just told me to leave. I begged him to talk to me, to yell, do something, but he wouldn't. He just stood up, walked to the door, and waited. I left, and that was the last time I ever saw him in person. It's been almost 3 years now. He's moved cities, started a new job, and from what I've seen online, yes, I still check sometimes, he's with someone new. She looks sweet. Kind. Maybe even a little like me. And I hope he's happy. I really, truly do. Sometimes, people ask me if I regret what I did. The answer is yes. But not just because I lost Jake. I regret that I hurt someone who only ever wanted to love me. I regret not dealing with my own insecurities before dragging someone else into them. I regret not being brave enough to ask for space, or time, or anything other than betrayal. If I could go back, I wouldn't fight to get him back. That wouldn't be fair. I'd just tell him one thing: I'm sorry, not because I got caught, or because I miss him, but because he didn't lose me that night. I lost him, and losing a person like Jake? That kind of loss doesn't fade. It lingers, like a shadow you carry quietly for the rest of your life.